Hey guys, welcome to Gray State and this episode of Bullet Time. Today it's going to be a fun one. The goal for today is going to be putting two rounds up against each other that are different versions of the same round. So originally back last fall, I did a video on the Winchester 124 grain NATO FMJ. It's a pretty popular practice round and I got a lot of feedback on it and some views. So you guys are probably familiar with that video if you're watching this one. So what happened was there was a comment by I'm going to give a shout out here to Craig Damage, who told me about a 150 round box that's available at Walmart of apparently the same round for about 28 bucks. So I went and I snagged a few boxes of it and it looks like this. Right here, I was able to find it locally at Walmart, just like he said it would be there. And so one thing that I noticed right off the bat is it looks the same. It's made in America, it's Winchester, it's NATO, it's Olin, everything, right? Except on the back of the box, it actually says now that it is 1,200 feet per second, which is different than the old version that I shot back last fall. The old version was a published velocity of 1,140 feet per second at the barrel, which it doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal, but it's actually 5% difference. And in my mind, that's a pretty big difference from one round to the next. So, you know, of course, I'm going to bring these two out. I'm going to put them against each other today. And so I'm going to be taking the new version against the old version that I shot last fall. So we'll have those today. Conditions today, it's 72 degrees, about 68% humidity. Perfect day to go shooting. It's a great day for this test. So let's take a look at what we're actually going to be using today to accomplish this test. Well, it's pretty simple. I'm going to use the exact same guns that I used last fall. So to kick it off, the first one we're going to shoot is going to be a Glock 43. And then we're going to move on to an unmodified bone stock Glock 19. Then back to the SIG P226, and then finally we're going to kick it off and finish the thing off with an 8-inch SIG MPX for all the PCC guys out there. All right, now that we got all the details covered, let's get shooting. Okay guys, so first up, it's going to be the old Winchester. It's going to be like the 2016 version at 1140 feet per second. First gun up is going to be a Glock 43. $10.89, $11.29, $11.30, $11.34, $11.13, $11.16, $11.03. And I'm going to have to do a quick mag change. I'll be right back. All right, continuing. $11.15. $10.93. $10.90. And that's our 10 rounds of the Glock 43. Second, 10 rounds. Here we go. $11.66, $11.53, $11.59, $11.72, $11.51, $11.83, $11.69, $11.68, $11.75, $11.59. All right, there's our 10 on the Glock 19. Start. All right, here we go. 10 rounds. $11.88, $11.86, $11.78. $11.69, $11.80, $11.80, $12.03, $11.78, $11.70, $11.63, 10 rounds. Clear. $12.50, $12.68, $12.71, $12.53, 1255, 1237, 1242, 1237, 1257, and here's my 10. Another 1257. All right, clear. All right, guys, starting back off on, this is going to be the new version of the Winchester 9mm NATO, and it's going to be rated at 1200 feet per second, which, as you guys remember I mentioned, actually is about 5% faster based on box than what the old version is. We're going to put them up against each other right now, and hopefully maybe we'll see that our speeds are about 5% faster than the old version. Okay, here we go. First up, Glock 43, 10 rounds. $10.69, $10.99, $10.95, $10.64, $10.92, $10.64, mag change. Yep, 7 shots in. Here we go. 1091, 1078, 1092. All right, clear. All right, that was the new version of the Winchester 9mm NATO, rated at 1200 feet per second. NATO, rated at 1200 feet per second. 10 rounds. Here we go. $11.43, 11.71, 11.58, 11.97, 11.55, 11.52, 11.72, 11.29, 11.67, and here's my 10 at 11.35. Clear. $11.62, $11.54, $11.67, $11.68, $11.49, $11.59, $11.54, $11.42, $11.40, and that's my 10 at 11.36. Wow, not even close to 1200. All right, let's bring out the MPX and see what we got. Clear. $12.34. $12.20, $12.40, $12.50, $12.42, $12.17, $12.02, $12.40, $12.47, $12.30. All right, there's a 10. Clear. All right, guys, well, I can say, I'm going to tally up the numbers and we're going to take a final look at them here, but I can say unequivocally, it looks like the older stuff is actually hotter than the newer stuff. So let me tally up the totals here and put them up on screen and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. Okay guys, thanks for hanging in there for this one. It was a lot of data. So I came back from the range and I just sifted through it and I've tried to compile it in a usable format to share. So before we look at it, I do want to reiterate that I do recognize that we're looking at only one variable here, and that's speed. And maybe someday in the near future, I'll do a more in-depth review, including accuracy, etc. But in my mind, this isn't match ammo or a PD round, it's NATO ball. And it's being sold as a practice ammo alternative to regular old 115 grain practice ammo. And I got to, for that, it's great, especially at the price point. So with that out of the way, let's look at the data. And as we look at each source platform, I've highlighted which round had better performance on that specific platform. So it's a direct apples to apples comparison. Okay, so looking at it side by side. First up was the Glock 43, and the big takeaway here was that the older white box supply was almost 30 feet per second faster on average than the new stuff. But the new supply was more consistent on the small platform. Use that how you want to use it. Second, the 4-inch barreled Glock 19 was added to represent what many agencies are now using as their weapons platform. Here you can see that the old supply bested the new supply in nearly every data point, especially in the consistency metrics. Third, in the full-size duty platform of the P226, the round speeds were higher across the board, but unlike on the compact platform, the consistency was negligible between the older and new supply, which is great to see. And then lastly, for those of you shooting PCC, the old stuff was favorable in every measured metric related to velocity. I mean, it was just there. So overall, keeping in mind that this is a widely available practice round, there isn't that big of a difference between the new stuff and the old stuff, honestly. My biggest, beef is when Winchester inflated the published speed on the box by 5% to 1,200 feet per second on this new value box labeled 124 grain NATO, which honestly, those numbers on the new stuff were only obtained on the MPX. So in reality, from my testing across multiple platforms, it's actually a little bit slower than it's, the previously boxed stuff. So if they would have kept the velocity of the previously published 1,140 feet per second, I wouldn't even spend time doing this. And don't get me wrong, still, I might be splitting hairs, and for everyday use, it's not that big of a deal, and it's a great round. But at the same time, I'm a numbers guy, so that's it. So anyways, that's it. I know this one was a little long, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and until the next time, stay safe.